Peace, Brodie Lee. Tonight, AEW Dynamite, WWE NXT, live reactions, play live right here on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in and watching. I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cool Hand Luke 96. As always, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. Thumbs up button. Share hashtag AEW, hashtag AEW Dynamite, hashtag WWE NXT. Chat questions and comments, super chats, super stickers, always great. Appreciated. As well, let me know what your favorite memory of John Huber. To us wrestling fans, Luke Harper, Brodie Lee, let me know in the comments, favorite memory. Gonna be a rough night, next 2 hours. Honestly, don't know how any of us are gonna get through this. Shocking news Saturday night. John Huber, dead at the age of 41. As mentioned, formerly known as Luke Harper in the WWE. They barely did a tribute whatsoever on Monday Night Raw. They did their typical in memory of to kick off the show. But tonight, AEW Dynamite going to dedicate their whole entire show this evening, pushing back New Year's Smash a few weeks in honor of John Huber, as mentioned to us wrestling fans, Luke Harper and Brodie Lee. That's what he was known as. But a celebration of life about to kick off on TNT. AEW Dynamite to close out this god-awful year 2020. Celebration of life dedicated to the legacy of the Exalted One himself, Mr. Brodie Lee. So AEW Dynamite, WWE NXT. We'll have some college football bowl game action as well with the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, Florida, Oklahoma, a national championship rematch from almost a decade and a half ago now. But yeah. I mean, 4 6-man tag team matches, so you can either cry like a little bitch or get the hell over it and enjoy AEW and NXT this evening. We'll have Cody Rhodes. As far as I know, Orange Cassidy, but from what I've heard, it'll be Darby Allin and 10 of the Dark Order taking on Team Taz, Brian Cage, along with Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Will Hobbs. Young Bucks with Boom Boom Colt Cabana taking on Matt Hardy and Private Party. We'll dive deep into what very well could be next for the Dark Order, as well as Brodie Lee's death sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. However, we will also have Hangman Adam Page along with John Silver and Alex Reynolds taking on MJF and Santana Ortiz of the Inner Circle. The fourth and final 6-man tag will be Lance Archer, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson up against Eddie Kingston, the Butcher and the Blade. But in the meantime, Brody Chance, All Elite Wrestling, AEW Dynamite from Daly's Place down in Jacksonville, Florida. A celebration of life for Mr. Brodie Lee, the Exalted One himself. The whole entire AEW roster out on the stage. There are fans in attendance, but it sounds like we'll have a 10-bell salute. There's his family, front and center, his wife and 2 kids. In memory of John Huber as the bell tolls. His son, Brodie Jr., -1 of the Dark Order, looking like Evil Uno himself, as you see Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, amongst some others, with the whole entire AEW roster out on the stage. FTR, there's Miro, more Brody Chance. There's his wife Amanda and their 2 kids, Brodie Jr. and Nolan. It's been a tough few days since we found out the news. There's John Moxley, Mox and Brody back in CZW. All their matches before, of course, the Shield and the Wyatt family in WWE, and now both in AEW together, and they actually fought at Double or Nothing for the AEW World Championship before Brody became TNT champion over the summer. And then hasn't been seen in a few months, and, of course, as mentioned on Saturday, while we were live and found out the news. Obviously, of course, gone way too soon. He dropped the TNT title to Cody. Cody then dropped it to Darby, who's still the TNT champion. But was thinking there a little bit ago, okay, he'll be back, sometime soon. He's just off TV right now, but he won't be coming back. John Huber, Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, gone at 41. WWE NXT also pays tribute in memory of John Huber, 1979 to 2020. Actually just celebrated his 41st birthday about 2 weeks ago now. But John Moxley with this promo after the in memory of and 10 bell salute for John Huber to kick off AEW tonight. Thoughts and prayers to his family. Can't imagine what she's going through, along with 2 sons under the age of 10. AEW actually did sign Brodie Jr. to a real lifetime contract when he is of age at 18 in 10 years. He will be signed to AEW. We're going to celebrate John Huber, the Exalted One, Mr. Brodie Lee, tonight on AEW. There's no doubt about that. Damn right. Mox, of course, doesn't seem to be there, even though he was penciled in, scheduled to be in action tonight, but that was supposed to be a part of New Year's Smash. First night of that tonight. Of course, now pushed back a week, head-to-head with WWE NXT. New Year's Evil next Wednesday, and then night 2 of AEW New Year's Smash will be in 2 weeks, on the 13th of January next year in 2021. As New Year's Eve is tomorrow, New Year's Day on Friday. Hopefully everyone had a Merry Christmas. We'll have a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. But Matt Hardy, along with Private Party, will kick off the night here this evening in one of the 4 6-man tag team matches that AEW has scheduled for us this evening. AEW Dynamite, Daly's Place in Jacksonville. Matt Hardy and Private Party. Hey, that rhymes. We've known that, and we knew at some point in time, or thought at least, I should say, that whenever both Matt Hardy and Brodie Lee debuted, they debuted on the same night back March 18th, a week after the pandemic began. It was actually the first show for AEW without fans, as we all have been settled in since, of course. But there was some speculation, some rumors swirling around on who the Exalted One was, who was going to be the leader of the Dark Order. Was it going to be Matt Hardy? Was it going to be Brodie Lee? Coming in from WWE. I remember sitting here a little over a year ago. Actually thought of this after Saturday night, after we found out that John Huber passed away. It'll be tonight, kicking us off on AEW. Here come the Young Bucks. They are donning Brodie Lee t-shirts. It seems like all of these AEW superstars are as well wearing RIP Brodie Lee armbands. But it'll be Matt Hardy and Private Party taking on the Young Bucks and Boom Boom Colt Cabana, who I thought at one point in time, after Brodie became TNT champion, Colt could turn and, become a challenger and potentially win that title. But they never did that. Brodie dropped the title to Cody just a little over 2.5 months ago. Had been in the hospital then for the past 2 months or so, and then just passed away on Saturday. But join darkorder.com. So the show must still go on. The show's going to go on one way or another. And we'll have to see. As mentioned, we'll get into who I think could potentially become the new leader, the next leader of the Dark Order, potentially. But here comes Colt Cabana. You can see he's a little teary-eyed, as we all are. As they all do the Dark Order pose with the hand. It's Wednesday, once again. You know what that means, but Jericho on commentary as well. Good old JR, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur, who knew Brodie Lee very well. But we'll get through tonight some way, one way or another. Bell rings, match underway, show goes on. It's the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana taking on Matt Hardy and Private Party. But Hardy very well, along with Brodie Lee, could have been, the first ever Exalted ones for AEW with the Dark Order. But went with Brodie Lee. They debuted on the same night. Supposed to be in Brodie Lee's, John Huber's hometown of Rochester, New York. He actually never got to wrestle with AEW in front of a live, sold-out crowd due to 2020 with coronavirus. But he did challenge for the AEW Championship. Did become TNT champion. He was widely known, and in my eyes, he's the first since you go the whole way back to Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, and Owen Hart that were as big named as he was, that passed away while active as a professional wrestler. Owen Hart, of course, tragedy in the ring back in 2000. Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, 2 deaths in 3 years, in 05 and 07. But since then, up until Brodie Lee's passing just this past Saturday, of course, had to have been the day after Christmas, December the 26th, 2020. Once again, thoughts and prayers to the family. But it's life sometimes. We all know we're born. We all know eventually one day we'll pass. Man upstairs thought it was his time, and as mentioned, show goes on. But sitting here a little over a year ago, I remember, he wanted out of WWE for quite a while. And he finally got his release. And I remember sitting here, it was a Sunday afternoon, don't remember exactly what NFL game it was, but was doing live reactions play of a 1 o'clock NFL kick on a Sunday afternoon, mid-December. It was a little over a year ago. And found out the news that he had been released from the WWE. He was granted his wishes. And I remember saying, good for him. He wanted out for how long, because he was never booked right. After the Wyatt family was torn apart, I guess you could say, dismantled, with Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and then when Braun Strowman entered the mix. I've always been a big Bray Wyatt fan, but I've always also respected Luke Harper, Brodie Lee, as we came to know him as once again in AEW, as that's what he went by on the independents before the WWE, and then Luke Harper, and returning to Brodie Lee. And hell, he even named his firstborn Brodie Jr. -1, -1 of the Dark Order, who AEW, as mentioned, signed to a real lifetime contract. But remember thinking, okay, well maybe, because AEW had just started up within the past year or so, prior to that, heading on into, year 2, 2.5, 3 coming up here shortly. What's the future hold for him? Is he going to go to AEW? Is he going to go New Japan? Of course, he ended up in AEW here. Debuted as he was supposed to debut as the Exalted One. However, no fans due to a pandemic. And since then, he made his mark in the company. And that's why I say, with how of a big name he was. Honestly, he was the best wrestler out of the 4 in the Wyatt family. No doubt the best wrestler with the Dark Order. The Dark Order before Brodie Lee debuted. Really wasn't anything special. I mean, they tried to put him over and kept trying to put him over, but it just wasn't working until Brodie entered the mix, and then the rest has been history since. But now, as mentioned, what's going to be next for the Dark Order? They show the joindarkorder.com when Colt Cabana came out with the Dark Order, as it has been brought to my attention too. I do believe all Dark Order members are in fact in action tonight, with Anna Jay also in tag team action on the women's side, as they have, as mentioned, 4 6-man tag team matches, along with a women's tag team bout with Anna Jay, Tay Conte, along with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Penelope Ford. But currently on AEW, we have Colt Cabana and the Young Bucks. Young Bucks, of course, your AEW World Tag Team Champions. They are taking on Matt Hardy and Private Party. We actually, just on NXT, saw Bronson Reed pick up the win. They're also announcing WWE NXT is their year-end awards for 2020, and Shotzi Blackheart, your breakout superstar of the year. I mean, these Slammy Awards, year-end awards, yes, awarded from us fans to the wrestlers, but they really don't mean a whole lot. I mean, it's still good to, see, of course, as the wrestling community is tight as ever, especially with all these memories as we look back at the life and legacy of Brodie Lee, remembering him, as we knew him, with all the tributes we've seen since late Saturday night. It was around 9 p.m. Eastern time, found out the news, and like I said, it's been a tough, rough few days. As I truly did like Luke Harper, Brodie Lee, as a character, as a wrestler. As mentioned, a big Bray Wyatt fan, but I also had a ton of respect for him. Like I said, best wrestler of the 4 and the 10,000 in the Dark Order. But we move forward, as mentioned, the show goes on. What's going to be next for the Dark Order? Now, right now, of course, yes, these feuds, these storylines don't mean jack shit, because tonight we're celebrating the life of Mr. Brodie Lee, the Exalted One himself. But he would want the show to go on. He would want AEW, he would want WWE for that matter too. Even if there was ill will towards the company following his release, I don't believe there was. He wanted out, he finally got out, and he came to AEW. He was, doing better than he honestly ever was or had been in the world of professional wrestling. And I feel just that's why it was so much of a shock Saturday night once we found out the news, because nobody really knew, and he wanted it that way. So we've learned. He wanted to keep it close. He wanted to keep it a secret, and everybody respected that, of course, and everybody's respected, for the most part at least, everything that's been said or with how the story's gone. Somebody just lost their life, and it was a non-COVID-19 lung issue, okay? And that came from his wife. We have to believe that. We have to respect that. We're not some journalist trying to make a living that is going to put out false information. If you know what I'm talking about, there was a report the other day that person has since lost his job, and his loss, not ours. That was his decision, and a wrong decision at that. It just blows my mind with how some people think, or what they think they'll be able to get out and get across and make people, okay, this is how it was, how it is, and how it always will be. We all know Bret Hart is, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, but you get my point. So Colt Cabana, along with the Young Bucks, we'll see if Colt Cabana, emerges as a potential Dark Order leader. Like I said, I thought maybe he would challenge Brodie for the TNT title, but they had Brodie and Cody going at the TNT Championship there for quite a while. Dog collar match, Brodie's final match ever. His actual final match in the WWE. Cover, 1, 2, and a kick out. One of his final matches, I should say, in the WWE. Singles competition, at least, for a championship, as he's been a former Intercontinental Champion, former Tag Team Champion, TNT Champion in AEW. He took a pinfall and lost clean to Cody Rhodes. Stardust at the time, I do believe. But then in his final match ever, all time in AEW here, lost to Cody Rhodes, who he defeated for the TNT Championship back SummerSlam weekend on a AEW Dynamite Saturday Night Special Edition, in which I remember sitting here witnessing that, and great for him at that point in time. I was so happy, and now, I mean, that just shows you don't know really what you got until it's gone. You live life every day to the fullest, and hey, it is what it is. But he was a TNT champion. I mean, really, that's all he ever accomplished championship-wise in the AEW world on Dynamite. But, he was still well-respected backstage in the locker room. It's just one of those, it's like, whether you knew him or not, you felt like, or you feel like you did at one point in time. And, like I said, it's a big loss. It's been a rough few days for some people. And, I mean, really now we can just sit back and enjoy all the memories. But with Matt Hardy and Private Party here up against Colt Cabana and the Young Bucks, cover on the Bucks of Youth, 1, 2, and then a breakup on the pinfall. This first of 4 6-man tag team matches tonight will now, in fact, continue. It was nice to see AEW did the 10-bell salute with everyone out on the stage. This is really their first big loss as a company. And it had to be Brodie Lee. Had to have been the exalted one. But, as mentioned, it's life. Colt Cabana tags in. He's legal. Couple elbows, to the head. I'm sure he might hit an elbow drop here off the top rope. Super kick from the Bucks. Ooh. And then the Young Bucks with the finish off the top. And then Colt Cabana 1, 2, 3 as he stares down the camera. Colt Cabana and the Young Bucks, your winners. In 2 weeks' time on NXT, they just announced something there. I don't know if they're pushing back New Year's Evil by any means or not, but I just saw in 2 weeks on NXT for something. I didn't catch what else it said there. There's a Brodie Jr. as Brodie's family sitting ringside with the Dark Order. Brodie Jr., you can tell he looks a lot like his dad, and he's wearing the Evil Uno attire this evening with the suit and mask. Alright. We got the Acclaimed, the new tag team in AEW, coming out, get some heel heat And then SCU from behind. Everyone's either in black or purple, it seems like. Somebody might say, hey, looks like you're going to your funeral, but hey, maybe I am. And of course, with Brodie Lee's passing, gone way too soon at 41. Brodie Jr. actually, from what I heard, pinned and defeated Kenny Omega, become AEW World Champion during New Year's Smash. However, that, of course, has been pushed back a few weeks now. So I don't know if any of that footage is ever going to come to life. But we go to the announce team with special guest commentator tonight, Le Champion, Chris Jericho. It's good old JR, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur with Jericho. But yeah, it's Orange Cassidy. I thought it was Orange Cassidy. I don't know why they were trying to get across Darby Allin as of late. But yeah, Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, along with 10 of the Dark Order, taking on Team Taz. Hangman Page with John Silver in his pocket. Alex Reynolds will take on 3 superstars, 3 wrestlers of the Inner Circle with MJF, Santana, and Ortiz as well. Anna Jay, number 99 of the Dark Order. Brodie actually handpicked that number for her with a favorite hockey player of his, or number 99. Anna Jay and Tay Conte versus Punxsutawney's own Britt Baker and Penelope Ford. A little over a month away from Kip and Penelope's wedding at Beach Break. Up next, though, the second of 4 6-man tag matches. As we hit our first commercial break on AEW this evening, currently had a commercial break on WWE NXT as well. We'll have Lance Archer, who, along with Hangman Page and Matt Hardy, in my opinion, the top 3 choices, who very well could take over and lead the ship into the future as a potential leader of the Dark Order, maybe. We'll see. It'll be Lance Archer with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson of the Dark Order, taking on Eddie Kingston with the Butcher and the Blade. Kingston, a longtime friend of Brodie Lee. As Cody Rhodes has known Brodie for quite some time as well. Jericho has even stated before that he told a few higher-ups in AEW, hey, you know, after Brodie was released from the WWE, we got to go out and sign this guy. You know, he's going to make a difference, and he did, you know, for the 9 months that he was with the company before his passing just this past weekend. But a good opening contest on AEW. We saw Bronson Reed pick up the win. If anybody does know what that in 2 weeks for NXT was, please let me know in the comments below. Missed that at the last second. I just saw in 2 weeks something for NXT. I don't know. I know, though, tonight on NXT, as we've seen Shotzi Blackheart win Breakout Superstar of the Year for the women, they have the NXT Year-End Awards this evening, along with a good singles match with Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era, with Pete Dunne, who is on Team McAfee at TakeOver War Games earlier this month. However, Johnny Gargano will once again defend his NXT North American Championship against Leon Ruff. Now, for AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash and WWE NXT New Year's Evil over the next few weeks or so now, with some postponements, with the Celebration of Life being inserted into tonight's episode of AEW. We'll get more into New Year's Smash and New Year's Evil throughout the night, so stay tuned for previews to both shows. But yes, coming up next on AEW, so they say at least, it'll be Lance Archer with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson taking on Kingston, Butcher and the Blade, who those 3 with Pac and the Lucha Brothers, the Death Triangle, AEW over the next, I would think, 6 to 12 months from now until the end of next year, I'll say, I'm not going to be shocked if they introduce Trios Championships, because they're really pushing very strong right now, running hard with Trio 6-man tag team matches. Hell, we have 4 of them tonight. So, Darby Allin now in the meantime. It seems like we're going to be doing this all night long with backstage sit-down promos with AEW wrestlers telling their memories and stories of Mr. Brodie Lee. As mentioned, the last time something like this happened, an active wrestler passing away as big name as Brodie Lee was. You got to go back to Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, and Owen Hart. And after Benoit died, before, of course, all the news came out later afterwards. I remember WWE Monday Night Raw also sort of did the same thing as AEW is doing here tonight with the sit-down backstage, however you want to put it, promos with, memories and stories of who we just lost. Join darkorder.com once again. Jake the Snake Roberts leading the way. It'll be Lance Archer with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson of the Dark Order. Maybe, with Jake the Snake, managing Lance Archer here, and Archer coming out dressed as Luke Harper. He's got the blue jeans. He's got a white tank top on. It's not gray, but he's got a white tank top on. But Lance Archer, along with, just Archer for the most part, he's sort of been in the middle of Kingston and Pac, Neville, formerly known as in WWE, of course. Because it was Kingston and Archer, and then Pac, of course, returned, and it hasn't screwed stuff up. It's just added to the story, and there's more potential options, down the road that they could go. Eddie Kingston coming out wearing a Notre Dame jersey. Fighting Irish taking on Alabama Friday in the Rose Bowl from Dallas, Texas. As the Rose Bowl, of course, moved this year. Kingston on the mic. We'll shut up. Brodie, I love you. I miss you. This is for you. The Dark Order is nothing without Brodie Lee. He's got a point, but he's getting over even more as a heel in the process. But with Kingston coming out in a #1 Notre Dame jersey, Fighting Irish take on Alabama in the college football playoff on Friday. In the meantime, also in Arlington, Texas right now, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, Florida and Oklahoma. We'll check in on that in a moment. We also got Clemson, Ohio State Friday night as well in the college football playoff. It'll be 1 versus 4, Alabama, Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl from Dallas rather than Pasadena in your normal Rose Bowl this year for January 1, 2021. Who's going to be the 1 and 21-1 as Brock Lesnar was for The Undertaker? We'll see. But then we also got Clemson, Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl Friday night. Bell rings, match underway. The second of 4 6-man tag team matches tonight underway. It's Lance Archer dressed as Luke Harper with a white tank top and a pair of blue jeans, paying homage to the late great Exalted One. Archer with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson taking on Eddie Kingston and the Butcher and the Blade. So Pac with the Lucha Brothers could potentially interfere in this match one way or another. I know Archer knew Brodie as well. They were, as Archer was at one point in time with the WWE, never really amounted to anything because of booking. They got rid of him before really did anything, but there are also a few dark matches and small little things like that. So Anna Jay ringside along with the Bunny, with the Butcher and the Bunny. Jake the Snake Roberts there as well. So Brodie's family in the crowd ringside. We got some fans in the stands as well, as mentioned. But Dark Order heavily promoted this evening, and rightfully so, with the passing, once again, of Mr. Brodie Lee. Nice power slam there. Kick out at 2. Match will continue. But the main event will be a Brodie Lee Jr. dream match. It will, in fact, be Orange Cassidy with Cody Rhodes and 10 of the Dark Order. From what I heard over the past few hours, Darby Allin, for some reason, was replacing Orange Cassidy. I don't know why, but they continue to promote Cody with Orange Cassidy and 10 of the Dark Order versus Team Taz with the FTW champion and Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, who has potential, but I just don't see it as of yet, with Powerhouse Will Hobbs as well, who turned on the Nightmare Family. Tag Team of the Year, we've got a few different candidates. We'll see who's going to win this for NXT Tag Team of the Year for the year-end awards. Drum roll, please. Out of the 6, and not really that big of a surprise. Guess who? It's the Undisputed Era. They are, in fact, once again, your Tag Team of the Year in WWE NXT. So, shocking the system on Wednesday nights. Live hashtag AEW Dynamite. Be sure to use that hashtag with hashtag WWE NXT when you share on social media. But we'll get back to the action momentarily. AEW Dynamite with WWE NXT. Only Roderick Strong of the UE in action tonight. Kyle O'Reilly going to challenge Finn Balor for the NXT Championship at NXT New Year's Evil next Wednesday. Unless that was for, hey, we're pushing this back another week, so in 2 weeks. But as far as I know, night 1 of AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash next Wednesday, head-to-head with WWE NXT New Year's Evil. And then the following Wednesday in 2 weeks on January the 13th, 2 days after College Football Playoff National Championship, with 2 winners of the semis on Friday, whether it be Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State. We'll find out. See, hopefully we'll tune in on Friday, though, to watch live reactions to both of those football games as college football winds down for 2020 into 2021. We'll have night 2 of AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash on January 13th, head-to-head with a regular edition of WWE NXT. But AEW Dynamite, for the most part here so far, doing a damn good job of paying tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee. As mentioned, it's been a rough couple days. Did not expect it. I mean, that's, what shocking deaths will do. As mentioned, whether the person's, young or old, and, a death is still a death when somebody dies. But John Huber gone at 41, and with the Piano Man, with what he said before, only the good die young. So, so much, too much left on the table. Future was so fucking bright for Brodie Lee. In a wonderful night, they say, celebrating the life of the Exalted One, Mr. Brodie Lee of the Dark Order, who passed away on Saturday due to lung issue complications. It was a non-COVID-19 death. I want to make that clear. It was a non-COVID-19 death. Lung issues over the past few months. Had been in the hospital, Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, and then passed away, unfortunately, on Saturday. So, may John Huber, Luke Harper, Brodie Lee, once again, rest in peace. So back on AEW here, 6-man tag. That tag actually wasn't made. That's a botch. Archer knew it, and then he still went with it because Evil Uno just rolled out of the way. But now it's Lance Archer going to town on the Butcher and Blade. Jake the Snake Roberts checking in on Evil Uno. Because that tag wasn't very good by any means whatsoever. But we're live with AEW and NXT this evening. So we'll have to see if either or have anything else planned for an add-in in between, other than, of course, AEW running their backstage, we'll call it memory wheel. We'll go down memory road. Lance Archer walking the top rope and then a backflip. Jesus Christ. For a man his size able to do that, I mean, there's a kick missed by the Butcher and Blade. It's a few botches, nice shoulder tackle there. But Lance Archer here, for the most part, you can tell as a tag's made, here comes Evil Uno and Stu Grace in the Dark Order. He's, Lance Archer this is, dressed as Luke Harper tonight, wrestling like Luke Harper tonight, frog splash off top rope, Stu Grayson with a 1-2 before a breakup from Kingston, Butcher, and the Blade. So, as mentioned, we can now only take a trip down memory road and relive all the memories and stories with the life, professional wrestling life, as you know, we've known John Huber, Luke Harper, Brodie Lee to be. And that's why I've said it's a larger-than-life character. He was a backwoodsy type in the WWE with the Wyatt family, of course. Turned Exalted One with AEW. Nice crossbody there from Lance Archer. Archer, I would think, along with Hangman, because they've teased Hangman joining the Dark Order as of late, with Matt Hardy, going back to, Hardy potentially becoming the first Exalted One over Brodie Lee, but they want Brodie Lee and then Matt Hardy doing what he's been doing. Those are the top three candidates in my eyes, potentially, to take over the Dark Order, become their new leader, if they're even going to go that route. Now, they could not, of course. If they do, I think it'd be safe to hold off and wait for a second, storyline-wise at least, play it smart, and as Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and Lance Archer pick up the win over Eddie Kingston, Butcher, and the Blade, I'm sure John Huber, Brodie Lee is looking down, smiling tonight. Tough. Just so sad. So sad. But with what I said, storylines, feuds right now really don't mean a whole lot, but the show still has to go on one way or another. Mercedes Martinez returning on NXT just recently, coming out. She'll be in action next on WWE NXT. Lance Archer along with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson winning and then standing tall with the takedown post-match. Jake the Snake Roberts in the corner. Yeah, they're all wearing RIP Brodie Lee armbands. As you can tell, there's a lot of sadness here this evening. But we're pushing through it. We're going to get through it one way or another. They fade to black, another commercial break. Actually, no, we're going to run some pictures now of John Huber and his family. John Huber with his wife, Amanda, and their two kids, Brodie Jr. and Nolan. There's FTR. Of course, they work together in the WWE, Luke Harper and the Revival. Arn Anderson Double A. He's been backstage for the past 10 years of Brodie's career, for God's sakes. That's why I was saying there a little bit ago. I mean, with all the talent and all these companies that knew him, it just shows you the love and amount of respect that they had for him, and now gone way too soon at 41. A lot of emotion. A lot of emotion. He was a big hockey guy. Huge hockey fan. Loved the Maple Leafs. So maybe next year they'll win the cup just for him. They'll begin their season here in a few weeks. As mentioned, I'm going to be missing the everyday tweets from him. Hey, reminding me, what day of the week it is. It's Sunday, you know what that means. It's Monday, you know what that means. It's Tuesday, you know what that means. It's Wednesday, you know what that means. AEW and NXT tonight. It's Thursday, you know what that means. It's Friday, you know what that means. It's Saturday, you know what that means. And how he's even stated, as I just went through the whole week, he had no idea, or no clue, however you want to put it. He didn't know what that meant, okay? Even though I had heard him tell a story before, hey, it's whatever day of the week, Sunday through Saturday. Putting that tweet out, I would retweet it every day. I retweeted the one from the day he debuted in AEW earlier today, as they retweeted that. So that's how I saw that, of course. So I had to give that a retweet once again. Gonna miss his, social media presence. He'd always, be on there saying something. But regardless of with what he said, hey, you really never knew what it meant. I remember him stating that, putting that out, hey, it's Sunday, you know what that means. Like, you get up on Sunday morning. If you go to church, you go to church. If there's, football on, hey, it's Sunday, you know what that means. There's NFL football. It's Monday. It's time for Monday Night Raw. It's Wednesday. It's time for AEW and NXT. It's Friday. It's time for SmackDown. Something along those lines, as a few different examples there. Or, hey, it's Monday, just after the holiday, if you're off all this week, or just normally throughout the year, it's Monday, you know what that means. Well, now you got to go back to work if you've been off all weekend, of course. If you work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or whatever your shift is, of course. Something, like that. That's what I've heard him say before, but he said both. It just depends on, the interview or the podcast that, of course, listen to with him in it. And, now, of course, everything, from the past, that's all we have now moving forward. But, like I said, we can just, sit back and, enjoy and cherish all the memories from before. Like I said, it's been tough, but, we'll get through it. A loss, like anyone, it's tough, but especially somebody one you look up to, or enjoyed watching, or whatever the case may be. Like I said, I have always liked him, and for me at least, for some reason, took a little tougher than probably what I should have, but like I said, it's just been a shock. Like, what? Like, what the hell? Like, are you serious? Like, you kidding me? Because that's what I had thought at first whenever I saw the news, when I was live right here on YouTube Saturday night with some live reactions, play-by-play. But Dark Order getting their work in nonetheless, with entrances. Hangman Adam Page with John Silver and Alex Reynolds. They'll be in the third of the fourth 6-man tag team match this evening. Anna Jay still to do battle in a women's tag team match. But yeah, with Lance Archer Hangman Adam Page and Matt Hardy, I would think those are your top 3 candidates to potentially become the new leader of the Dark Order. As once again they do the Dark Order sign with whatever the hell this means. I don't know. They've always just done it. Voting is now open for NXT overall competitor of the year for their year-end awards. We'll see who wins that, whether it's going to be Io Shirai or Adam Cole, baby. But here comes Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF. He's better than us, and we know it. It'll be MJF with Santana and Ortiz with Wardlow. Wardlow's supposed to take on Jake Hager tonight. Of course, New Year's Smash pushed back, but... Alright, MJF dressing up like Santana and Ortiz here. Hangman and the Dark Order are going to win this. I'd be shocked if MJF picks them to win. It's going to be Dark Order cleaning house tonight, it seems like. It feels like, at least, with their wins already this evening. But with, you know, other potential candidates to be the leader of the Dark Order, what's next for the Dark Order? You know, like Lance Archer, Hangman and Page with Matt Hardy. You know, you go to the Nightmare Family with Dustin Rhodes, Gold Dust. You know, you go back to Brodie and Cody. Cody Rhodes, of course, then getting his full name back. Brodie actually just got his, you know, Brodie Lee name for AEW before his passing. All Silver and Reynolds with the paper. Right to the head. The faces of Santana and Ortiz. Take that, you little bitch. Of course, BTE being the elite. All the paper rolled up. I got a big pot from the crowd. It'll be Hangman taking on MJF to kick us off in this 6-man tag team match. But maybe Dustin turns on Cody and, you know, joins the Dark Order and is the new leader. You even got to go to SCU with Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian potentially, with them before Brodie debuting. And then even the night Brodie debuted, hey, Daniels interfered and interrupted Evil Uno on the mic, and then Brodie attacked. So maybe Christopher Daniels along with Frankie Kazarian, but Scorpio Sky is one to keep an eye out, I do think. He's sort of just treading water. I'm not doing a whole lot with him, so Scorpio Sky potentially has a fit. You know, Shawn Spears walked out on AEW last week. Don't really know what's up with him. Of course, it's a storyline, but AEW, from what we've heard at least, is going to have a few contracts expiring over the next few months or so. So, you know, who knows with who it is and what's going to happen there. But Shawn Spears could, you know, fit in very well. That would finally give him at least something to do. And then Tully Blanchard to manage FTR and not, you know, trying to do it all. So Shawn Spears, I think, would be a fit. But then even 99 Anna Jay, the Dark Order already, if they'd want to push her, you know, to become the new top woman in the company, potentially as the new AEW Women's Champion, Anna Jay could be a fit for the Dark Order as well. But you got to go to earlier this year, actually, and the whole way back to All In before All Out, before AEW, and back to the independents with the Elite, okay? Marty Scurll has been with Ring of Honor, but from what I know, he's no longer signed. So what's up with him? Is he potentially going to join AEW and be all in with All Elite Wrestling? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But I think out of everyone I've named off, other than the top 3, with, in no particular order by any means, but we'll say Matt Hardy, Hangman, and then Lance Archer, Marty Scurll would be the best fit. If they'd want to bring him into the company and you know, make a bold statement, as they did with Brodie, as the Exalted One, I'm sure, you know, they could do something storyline-wise, like, you know, Brodie's however you want to put it, the long gone exalted one or something like that. I don't know how they'd want to word that. I can't really think of the term right now. Um, sort of the god of the Dark Order, I guess. They could have different rollers, different leaders of the Dark Order then. And, Marty Scurll, they could come up with a name for him as they came up with the Exalted One for Brodie Lee. He's already the Penguin out of the bunch with the Elite. So, Marty Scurll, I think, would out of the few that I named off, would be the best potential candidate. If they're even going to move forward with the Dark Order, maybe they, dismantle them and break them up, and send them on their own separate ways. I mean, really, when was the last time John Silver and Reynolds, along with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, all in one night, whether it was one match or separate matches, wrestled on AEW, other than AEW Dark? Like they've been more of being the elite or behind the scenes type of characters. And that's why I said with the Dark Order, before Brodie, they were really nothing. Even though they were trying to put him over, it just didn't really work. And then Brodie comes in and voila, he's pushed to the top of the card, rightfully so. That's where he should have been in the WWE. Him and his promos, all the vignettes he did in his suits, cutting up steak, acting like Vince. I get it. But if they'd play their cards right, there's a lot on the table for the Dark Order. Dark Order. But we'll see what happens. Had a split screen commercial. Hashtag AEW Dynamite, hashtag WWE NXT. Want to share this on social media. We got, in the meantime, Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne in singles competition on WWE NXT. So, third of fourth 6-man tags underway on AEW with Hangman, Adam Page, with the Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds taking on MJF and Santana and Ortiz. Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne on WWE NXT. Once again, so thank you for tuning in and watching my live reactions, play-by-play of AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT live this evening right here on YouTube. As we celebrate the life of John Huber, known to us wrestling fans as Luke Harper and Brodie Lee, passed away this past Saturday at the age of 41 due to a non-COVID-19 lung issue. Once again, may he rest in peace. See you down the road. But thank you for tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. As always, links in the description below. Thumbs up button. Share hashtag AEW, hashtag AEW Dynamite, hashtag WWE NXT, hashtag John Huber, hashtag Luke Harper, hashtag Brodie Lee. Chat questions and comments, super chats, super stickers, always greatly appreciated as well. And we'll get back to the action momentarily. However, in the meantime, as mentioned, Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, a 2008 National Championship game rematch. It's Florida who defeated Oklahoma in that game. Tim Tebow over Sam Bradford and the boys. We've got Florida and Oklahoma tonight in the Cotton Bowl, and the Sooners leading 17-3 over the Gators. There's a lot of players on both these teams tonight, having already opted out. So both teams down a lot of players compared to the usual 85, 100 kids per team. But with it being bowl season and opting out, transfer portal, you want to go to the NFL, all that wrapped up into one. Oklahoma still taking care of business here early second quarter, up in their home away from home, just south of Norman, Oklahoma, and the Big D, Dallas, Texas. Up on the Florida Gators out of the SEC, 17-3. But AEW and NXT now both in the meantime at split screen commercials. Actually, AEW coming out of this split screen, and we're back full screen to the action with Hangman and MJF with the Dark Order and Santana and Ortiz, and the once again third of 4 6-man tag team matches this evening on AEW Dynamite. So thank you for tuning in and watching, and rest in peace, Brodie Lee. John Silver is a human bowling ball. He's probably about 5'7", 5'8", but he's jacked as all hell. Big kick to Santana and Ortiz, and then a takedown off the ring apron ringside, and then a shove to MJF into the corner. Silver off the top rope with a cross body. Off the ropes. Big power bomb. Kick out at 2.
Silver once again showed some great personality on BTE. Thanks to Brodie Lee. Absolutely. But Santana on the move. Roll through into the cutter. Looks like it's up to John Silver to maintain the winning streak here in the Dark Order. Oh, wow. Big double stop there by Reynolds. Spine buster by Ortiz. A double leg burner. What match is this? Elbow strike there from Hangman. To the midsection up by MJF and a whip into the corner. One of his favorite moves. MJF trying to pull his shoulder. Hangman and Page out of socket with that whip. Silver puts on the brakes. What is this? Comes up, goes on.
Eric Rowan. Rowan's on AEW. Rowan attacking Wardlow. Palm slam. Good to see Rowan. Who knows if they signed him or if it's just the one thing here tonight. A one-time thing as Rowan and Wardlow fight into the... Brodie's former tag team partner and Jericho even dropped Bludgeon Brothers. Dark Order going to pick here after the attack. Maybe Rowan, joins the Dark Order, and he'll be the prodigal. Good to see Rowan. He really hasn't done a whole lot in wrestling since he was also released from the WWE. MJF rips off the mask of Brodie Jr., spits on it, and then Brodie Jr. with a stick of some sort whacks MJF right across the head. Yeah, Brodie Jr. living it up tonight, no doubt. Thoughts and prayers once again to the wife and kids. Big clothesline from John Silver, cover 1, 2, 3. Hangman actually just hit a clothesline off the rips, as he always does as well. But the winners of this 6-man tag team match, Hangman and Page with John Silver now returns to the Dark Order as MJF just got whacked with a kendo stick is what it ended up being by an 8-year-old. But John Silver did the Brodie clothesline. Rowan out there with a sign of some sorts. Goodbye for now, my brother. See you down the road. And Rowan's in tears. Very upset, emotional. As he looks to the sky. Rowan wearing a Brodie Lee t-shirt. Maybe Rowan's going to be all in with All Elite Wrestling. You know, maybe it's just a one gig here tonight, but I feel like they could, you know, potentially use him in regards to remembering Brodie. You know, they were former tag team partners, for God's sakes. I mean, they were part of the Wyatt family together for how long, and then they're even tag team partners. He's going to miss John Huber Brodie for busting his balls and giving him a hard time. Real close friends, them two. Saw a picture on social media earlier, I believe today, if I'm not mistaken. It was Brodie Lee before Luke Harper, for WWE, with Eddie Kingston and Daniel Bryan Danielson at the time, was also in the ring. I don't know if it was a triple threat match or they were tagging that night or what, but you know, all the flooding we've gotten the past few days, whether it's been, you know, tears or flooding social media with all the tributes, with photos, videos, all the gifts. Here comes Anna Jay of the Dark Order, 99. She'll be teaming with Tay Conte, taking on Dr. Britt Baker and Penelope Ford. Now, with the celebration of life tonight for Brodie Lee on AEW Dynamite, New Year's Smash will be over the next 2 weeks now. And then we'll be on to AEW Beach Break on, I believe it's February the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. Wednesday night, of course, AEW with WWE NXT head-to-head. The AEW Beach Break, not Bash at the Beach due to copyright, but that's when we'll have the wedding of Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford with, of course, the best man himself, Miro, formerly known as Rusev in the WWE. And, you know, going back to with what I had said about, you know, Brodie being released from the WWE a little over a year ago, and then coming to AEW, you know, Rusev and Rowan being cut after WrestleMania this past April, mid-April, April the 15th, if I'm not mistaken, it was the exact date. It's right after WrestleMania. You know, they're cutting back, but Good Brothers were also cut. You know, Talking Shops turn into, you know, what Talking Shop Mania's become. You know, so good for them too. You know, we got to support, you know, one another, whether we want to or like it, especially with how this year's gone. But, you know, what a year makes. Miro, okay. Now Miro, formerly known as Rusev. The last Raw of last year was the Lashley-Lana wedding with Out of the Cake and Liv Morgan returning. They were going to run the lesbian storyline. That never worked out. We knew it was a fail from the start, but no, they're going to run it until it shits the bed, which it did. Lashley, right now, you're United States champion in the WWE. Matt Riddle just resigned. We'll see if that's the direction they go there. more so probably is than not. Lashley as well entered the men's Royal Rumble match with Daniel Bryan. So Royal Rumble coming up a month actually from tomorrow, January the 31st. And it'll be here before we know it, but and we'll see what happens from now until then, of course. But you know, what a year makes, because with, you know, everyone that was released and doing their own thing now, you know, like I said earlier, with Harper getting released, got his wish, he wanted out, he got out. Brodie Lee returns, he's in AEW. You know, that was a 4-month gap from right before Christmas last year to when he debuted in March. That was supposed to be in Rochester's hometown, and like I said, he never got to wrestle in front of a live, sold-out crowd with AEW. But he, you know, did do what he did with All Elite Wrestling in AEW here. Here comes Penelope Ford with Kip Sabian, who's wearing a Brodie Lee t-shirt. Miro by their side. The Kip Penelope wedding will be during beach break in early February. You can tell Miro's a little emotional here. But what a year makes, because he comes to AEW and then 9 months later, well, 7 months later, he gets sick and has been in the hospital since, and then 9 months later, from when he debuted, he dies. He's dead. But, you know, like I said, the show goes on. He'd want it to go on. And, you know, so in the meantime, we just gotta sit back and enjoy it as we always do. But it'll be Penelope Ford with Anna Jay, the Dark Order, taking on, it'll be Anna Jay and Tay Conte taking on Britt Baker and Penelope Ford. Britt Baker with, there's Reba. There are actually a lot of fans there. Socially distanced, of course, wearing masks. But I'm sure tonight was a hard ticket. Unless, of course, they already had him for tonight's New Year's Smash. That was postponed, but Brodie was a huge hockey fan. Loves his hockey. So we're almost coming up on main event time, it feels like. As I do believe with the other 6-man tag team matches that we've already witnessed, and this women's tag team match now underway with Anna Jay and Tay Conte taking on Britt Baker and Penelope Ford. Yes, we still only have one more match to go, and it's going to be our main event. Now they could add in something from now until that, unless of course they're going to give it time, or even run some more of those memory videos from backstage. It'll be Cody Rhodes with Orange Cassidy, along with 10 of the Dark Order taking on Team Taz, a Brodie Lee Jr. Dream Match, as they're calling it. So, Tony Khan even stayed up all night, rewrote tonight's episode of AEW, as he sort of, sometimes have to do. Especially, no doubt this was the right move. It's like, well, if not now, when are you going to? And, that's why WWE's gotten a little flack for slacking. Only running the 2 now and 3 come Friday night for SmackDown in memory of John Huber, Luke Harper. From what WWE fans knew as Brodie Lee in AEW, but I sort of get it. I mean, he hasn't been with the company in a year. Even with him being a former superstar, you would have thought they would have been superstars, on Raw Monday night. Even Tom Phillips on commentary starting the show. It's Monday, you know what that means. McIntyre, as Brodie would always do. Off the ropes with a right hand or a clothesline. And then good to see Archer dressing up like Harper tonight on AEW, as mentioned earlier. But, even Alexa during Alexa's Playground, Xavier on social media promoting AEW tonight. Xavier Woods in the New Day. I'm sure he was getting bitched at for that, but it's really like, who cares? Obviously Vince and the WWE as a whole do, but they don't compared to, the friends that, Brodie had, they obviously, which they should, of course, care more than the company. It's what it seems like, at least. You're paying homage, you're paying tribute to, someone that they knew, very well, close, near, dear to their hearts, that, passed away unexpectedly due to a lung issue. That's why I said it was, so much of a shock. To me, at least, it was. Like, what? Like, seriously? Like, this is not a storyline by any means. Like, it's not Vince McMahon blowing up in a limo. He's gone. Brodie Lee, John Huber, is dead in real life. He's gone at 41. Has died. Died this past Saturday due to a lung issue. That was non-COVID-19 related once again. I want to make that straight. So, yeah, it's just awful. Sad. Like I said Saturday, there's so many different terms, you could, put to this with him passing away, of course. But of anything, it was more of a shock, I thought, with him passing away than anything else. But still very sad. Like I said, just continued thoughts and prayers to his wife and kids, the whole family, parents and siblings and everyone on down the line. But thoughts and prayers to John Huber's family after he passed away at the age of 41 this past weekend. May he once again rest in peace. I'm sure he's clotheslining the man upstairs right now for taking him too soon. But hey, like I said, sometimes it's life. Like I said, we're all born. We all know eventually one day we'll die, and it was his time. Because you got to look at it both ways, even though you don't want to. Because it is a very sad, tough loss. He's going to be missed. He will be. He, for sure, no doubt, left a huge hole in pro wrestling, especially right now with AEW, as he was the Exalted One, the leader of the Dark Order. So that's why I said earlier, well, what are they going to do now moving forward? Show goes on, but, who's going to fill his shoes, as the Apostle would say. So, we'll see what happens, but Finn Balor, in the meantime, in the ring on NXT. He's your current NXT champion. He'll be defending that championship against Kyle O'Reilly next week. NXT New Year's Evil will be January the 6th. January the 6th and 13th for AEW. It'll be New Year's Smash, nights 1 and 2. And then next week for NXT, the first ever WWE NXT New Year's Evil. Future bright for both companies, as Anna Jay looking to make a tag. She's legal. Couple clotheslines to Britt Baker, and then a kick to the back of the left knee, and then a neck breaker. Anna Jay 99 of the Dark Order, with Tay Conte once again taking on Britt Baker and Penelope Ford. Kick to the side of the head. Here comes Penelope from behind with a nice backstabber. And then a power slam. Colorado now in the ring. Face to face with Finn Balor. They faced off at NXT TakeOver 31 back in October before both superstars were injured, and you know the NXT Championship in the meantime sort of been put on the back burner. But we're going to get a rematch next week. Okay, Britt Baker from behind taking down Anna Jay as she was sort of celebrating here a little too early. And then a neck breaker from Britt Baker, cover 1, 2, and then Anna Jay kicks out. She's sort of the smoke show, if you will, of AEW. The Scarlet of NXT in AEW. Anna Jay, the Dark Order. Penelope Ford in the same boat, but we'll see what happens. Cover 1, 2, kick out 2.5. Talk about beach break with Kip and Penelope's wedding with Miro, the best man. Miro's going to turn on Kip during that wedding. I can already see it happening. And then that'll, set up a feud with Miro and Kip from then into a little over a month and a half from now until probably Double or Nothing Memorial Day weekend. Anna Jay gonna make Penelope Ford tap out as Tay Conte takes out Britt Baker ringside. Here comes Reba to break it up, but Penelope in the meantime gonna tap out, so Anna Jay and Tay Conte pick up the win for the Dark Order in this women's tag team match against Britt Baker and Penelope Ford tonight on AEW Dynamite in honor of the late, great Mr. Brodie Lee. All right. Tony Schiavone in the ring now interviewing Britt Baker. This is always gold. The whole thing was rigged. It's a conspiracy. The whole thing is kind of a big rig, which, of course, was one of Brodie's nicknames. In the meantime, as she gave a little wink and then looked up, we got Thunder Rosa attacking Britt Baker from behind. So there's your feud there. In the meantime, in NXT, with Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor face-to-face, we got Karrion Kross coming out, and then Damian Priest. They'll do battle next week as well. WWE NXT New Year's Evil. We also got a fight pit match with Ciampa and Thatcher. Next week, Snoop Dogg's going to be on AEW Dynamite, New Year's Smash Night 1, as originally scheduled, with Jericho on commentary tonight for New Year's Smash, but Celebration of Life now for Brodie Lee, and then Snoop Dogg next week. However, next week, New Year's Smash Night 1, Kenny Omega versus Rey Fenix for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Jon Moxley going to return as well. He'll be in action. We got Sheeta and Abaddon for the AEW Women's World Championship as well. They still have to figure out their women's division in my eyes. Young Bucks and SCU taking on the Acclaimed and the Hybrid 2. I believe that's an added match. Jake Hager versus Wardlow. We'll see if Rowan's going to be a part of that by any means or not. But then also Cody Rhodes versus Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal on the AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash Go Big show. Le Champion Demogod Chris Jericho will also be on commentary next week as well. In 2 weeks, we'll have Darby Allin with Brian Cage for the TNT title. It looks like Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, Pac and Eddie Kingston, FTR with Best Friends. So changing a little bit, as the card is always subject to change. But up next on AEW, it'll be the fourth and final six-man tag of the evening with Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and 10 of the Dark Order taking on Team Taz in the Brodie Lee Jr. Dream Match main event to cap off the celebration of life for Mr. Brodie Lee. Special tribute now. Here's Chris Jericho. Brodie Lee, Luke Harper. Jericho wrestled him 27 times, he states. Bringing up Saudi Arabia. Oh, all right. They're in Saudi Arabia, and that was the arrow pointing to Mecca. It wasn't a bug or a spider sticker by any means, as Jericho once thought. But, yeah, Brodie was a cool cat, no doubt. A little different, but best performer in the ring. One of the best performers in the ring, Jericho states. I even said Saturday night, even earlier. Yeah, no doubt. I thought he was the best of the four of the Wyatt family, in ring wise. He was a damn good wrestler, but he was even better on the mic. And that's what got him over, I thought, at least, with true wrestling fans, whether he was booked right or not. Dogs can tell, no doubt. You can tell Jericho's a little upset there, a little emotional, but AEW going to be taking care of the Hubers. This is the Brodie Lee Jr. six-man tag team dream match main event for AEW Dynamite this evening. It'll be, once again, Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and 10 of the Dark Order taking on Team Taz. The FTW champion of Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Will Hobbs. There's Taz himself. His son is also now in the mix. This should be a damn good match. I'm sure Brodie Jr. will get involved, -1 himself, the Dark Order, as he did with MJF earlier. Just because namesake, it's his dream match for the main event. But they'll fade to black and take one final commercial break before the main event does in fact begin. So thank you for tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. But for the most part, yeah, they've done a good job tonight. And then Jericho with the final send-off for the memories. Just telling some stories. That one, of course, when they were in Saudi Arabia for a crown jewel or a super showdown, I would think, maybe in the Greatest Royal Rumble. and just hanging out, and like I said, John Huber, Brodie Lee, Luke Harper is going to be missed, no doubt. In-ring competitor, great. Even on the mic, like I said, all his vignettes, all his promos, just hundreds. So they're saying, and they will take care of the family. As I'm sure, they'll try to stay in it as most and best they can moving forward. But at the same time, they might want to, family-wise at least, take a step back and get out of it for a little while. I don't know. I mean, that's personal, no doubt. Just some thoughts. So, I mean, we're live, so just thinking what's coming to mind. So, like I said, they did sign Brodie Jr. to a real, so they say at least, contract. And, when he is of age, he'll be signed with All Elite Wrestling. That's, of course, if, they're still a company at that point in time, which, if TNA's still around, no offense with Kenny Omega, along with the Good Brothers, appearing on there, okay, AEW is still going to be around in 10 plus years, because AEW has sky's the limit, as Brodie did as the Exalted One. But if TNA's been around for almost 20 years, like, AEW is going to be around for a long time as well, so get used to it if you're a mark or a hater or whatever you want to be called. So it's like, just watch both, get over it, quit crying like the little bitch you probably are, and move on. It's life, and as we found out, for some it's short, but you gotta live every day to the fullest and no regrets. It's like, why the hell wouldn't you watch both AEW and NXT? I'm sure there's a lot of people, as here comes Dark Order's 10 wearing Brodie's outfit there. He might actually be the next leader of the Dark Order, maybe. We'll see. Or maybe is that Brodie himself coming back from the dead already? No. Fortunately not. But, no, just watch both and get over it, for God's sakes. But I'm sure there's more people watching AEW tonight than there are NXT. Here comes Orange Cassidy, weighing whatever, from wherever. Freshly Orange Cassidy with best friends. Trent with an injury, so Chucky T's off by himself. But yeah, there's some speculation on it was going to be Orange Cassidy or Darby Allin. I knew it was Orange Cassidy, but then they were saying Darby Allin as of late, and it's Cody who's going to come out next. As Team Taz is already out in the ring. The Team Taz taking on 10 of the Dark Order with Orange Cassidy and Cody Rhodes in this AEW Dynamite main event of the evening. Here comes Cody Rhodes, who defeated Brodie Lee in his final match of his career and in his lifetime, defeating him and becoming TNT champion once again. See if Cody comes out with some dark hair, as he had when he beat Brodie and then went back to blonde. But we saw everyone earlier. He had blonde hair. I doubt he would have died in the past hour and a half. Cody Rhodes with his blonde hair. Jericho's still on commentary. Here comes Cody Rhodes as it's main event time on AEW. In the meantime, on NXT, we got Legado del Fantasma in the ring with your Cruiserweight champion. They really haven't done a whole lot with them as of late, but hey, it is what it is. I get the booking and, all that. So, I'll digress, but here comes the American Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes with Double A Arn Anderson as coach by his side. Maybe Cody, they break up the Nightmare family, he turns on his own family and, joins the Dark Order. No doubt, 10's going to pick up the pinfall for the win here. Cody might as well. But all these matches in favor of the Dark Order tonight in honor of Brodie Lee. So Cody, Orange Cassidy, and 10 are going to defeat Team Taz in this main event before we go home and close out the show. So once again, thank you for tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Bell rings, match underway. Cody with Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Will Hobbs, who turned on the Nightmare family and joined Team Taz. Hobbs with a big shoulder tackle on Cody Rhodes. Tag going to be made. Here comes Ricky Starks. It's going to be Ricky Starks and Cody Rhodes now. In the corner, big chop to the chest. Cody with a chop as well. Now they're just going to be trading those back and forth. Ricky Starks, hey, settle down, take it easy. Nice drop kick there by Starks. Cody off the ropes, but then Starks with a takedown. Gonna strike a pose in the middle of the ring. I don't know what the hell he was doing there by any means, but obviously showboating, getting a little cocky before Cody regains control and is looking to make a tag, but then Orange Cassidy's just standing there like, no, I don't want to go in. I don't want to come in and participate in this match just yet. But then Cody tags in 10 of the Dark Order. So now it's 10 of the Dark Order versus Ricky Starks. I mean, Orange Cassidy might get the hot hand, but Cody and then along with Orange Cassidy talking it over, like, why the hell didn't you want to tag in? And he's like, just shrugged his shoulders, like, I don't want to. Starks now off the ropes, 10 with a nice shoulder tackle. Preston Vance, I do believe, is the name of 10 of the Dark Order, if I'm not mistaken. Harper, Brodie Lee, had a saying in his signing, no doubt. So, maybe with how they, or how he presented himself tonight, I should say, he could, be a potential candidate, as a leader of the Dark Order moving forward. But Hobbs wants Orange Cassidy. So 10's going to tag in Orange Cassidy, and it's going to be freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy taking on Will Hobbs. A lot of orange in this one-on-one during the six-man tag. Orange Cassidy, and then, of course, Team Taz with the orange colors. Hobbs in the orange and black, but now freshly squeezed Chance. Hobbs wants to lock up, but Orange Cassidy gonna, put his hands in his pockets. And then a shove. Orange Cassidy off the ropes. And then, now they take us to a split screen commercial. Orange Cassidy with those very light kicks to the legs of Hobbs, and then Hobbs with a big shoulder tackle there a second ago, right before the split screen came on. Sunglasses also fell off of Orange Cassidy, but this main event match going to continue in the meantime on AEW with this split screen commercial. So we'll get back to the action momentarily. In the meantime, commercial break on WWE NXT. It'll be Johnny Gargano and Leon Ruff in the NXT North American Championship main event coming up next. And then we'll get into what's to come for AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash over the next few weeks and next week's WWE NXT New Year's Evil as well. So stay tuned, and thank you once again for tuning in and watching.
Yeah, just a silly mistake. I guess I look pretty ridiculous.
No one looks ridiculous, Bob. Progressive is always here for you with round-the-clock service.
Just so you know, next time you can submit a claim with our mobile app.
Good. Thanks again for rushing over.
Are you kidding? This is what 24/7 protection looks like. You smell like fish. I was talking to Jamie.
These days, everyone's staring at screens, scanning the news, and watching their spending. Good vision is more important than ever, but so, especially now, is saving. That's why America's Best includes a free eye exam when you buy 2 pairs of glasses for just $69.95. That's a savings of at least $50. 2 pairs of glasses for just $69.95. Includes a free exam. That's not just a better deal. It's America's Best. Book an exam online today at americasbest.com. And you're on mute.
7 years ago, now the tree is all that's left. Snow Piercer has a new pet engineer. Agreement.
Thank you for tuning in and watching. Yeah, I've seen a few tributes. Of course, I feel like everyone has on Saturday night, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, with the man, the myth, the legend, if you will, the now late great John Huber, Luke Harper, Brodie Lee, as we knew him as in the world of professional wrestling. But as mentioned earlier, no doubt he's going to be missed. You know, like I said, all these tributes, all the memories and stories, you know, they'll keep us, as it always does when somebody passes away, keep us moving, and, you know, with their life, their career, allow us to remember that. So I'll leave it at that. I mean, like I said, because it's been a tough, you know, few days for some people, and thoughts and prayers once again to the family of John Huber. But nice to see AEW doing the celebration show tonight, celebration of life for John Huber, Brodie Lee. But back to the action. Live with AEW and NXT. We've got a 6-man tag with Cody, Orange Cassidy, and 10 versus Team Taz, along with Legado del Fantasma in tag team action as well. So a lot of tag team or 6-man tags this evening, as AEW, in my opinion, no doubt has the best tag team division right now in pro wrestling, but they still have to figure out their women's division. But with how 2020's been, I mean, a lot of stuff's been put on the back burner. You can only do so much. You still got to do what you got to do. It is what it is. I get it. So we'll see what the future holds. But the future is very bright, you know, as I always say for both companies here. So we just got to sit back and continue to watch it. But as I was saying there a little bit ago, I feel like there's going to be more people watching AEW tonight and talk about ratings. I care less about ratings, but, you know, just with what they were doing, what they're putting on here, you know, celebrating the life of John Huber. You had WWE wrestlers promote AEW tonight, and like I said, they're probably getting shit for it, but who cares? You know, it's not that big of a deal. So it is, but it isn't, depending on how you look at it. But tag made. Here comes 10 of the Dark Order. Clothesline to Ricky Starks. Takes out Cage on the ring apron along with Hobbs as well. 10 now off the ropes. He catches Ricky Starks, and then he's going to slam him down in the middle of the ring. We still got some time tonight on AEW and NXT, so at least they're giving this main event match some time. I mean, I get with the 5 matches they had advertised, even with the add-in segments, they're still going to have a few extra minutes here or some extra time. So unless, of course, they have something planned after this match with, honoring the family potentially in the middle of the ring, something along those lines, maybe we'll see. Nice spear there by Starks off the ropes to 10. And then Orange Cassidy with the breakup. So we got Taz and Arn Anderson ringside for this. AEW has a lot of coaches, managers, whatever term you want to put to that, with producers or just backstage personnel that, of course, are helping out. Hobbs with the takedown on Orange Cassidy. Here comes Cody with a super kick. Super kick to Cage, but he catches him, and then the knee to Cody. Cage on the reversal with a DDT. 10 with a big kick to Cage as he was about ready to powerbomb Cody Rhodes, and then 10 from behind with a right hand. Here comes Starks. Starks and 10. DDT off the ropes. Cover 1, 2, kick out at 2.5. But no doubt, we'll remember the Exalted One, Mr. Brodie Lee. Here comes Taz with a steel chair. Taz, I saw tweeted out earlier with the COVID tests, with the temperature checks, as Arn Anderson and Taz are now standing at the top of the stage, face to face, steel chair to steel chair. A orange punch from Orange Cassidy before a crossroads from Cody Rhodes, and then 10 of the Dark Order gonna spine buster to Ricky Starks. Cover 1, 2, 3. Here comes the ref. 1, 2, 3. So really a pinfall on the count of like 6 or 7. But 10 of the Dark Order with Cody Rhodes and Orange Cassidy pick up the win over Team Taz tonight in the main event, as Arn Anderson and Taz were about to get in it there with the steel chairs. Good finish. Very good finish. We'll see what they have planned post-match here. Like I said, we still got some time before AEW, of course, goes off the air here. But NXT still going strong as well at their year-end awards to close out 2020. What a night for the Dark Order. They won all their matches. Jericho says, watch out. Team Taz from behind. Nice one, Jericho. Hook. Taz's son on the cover of the Rolling Stone. Of course, Dr. Hook in the song cover of the Rolling Stone. Jericho, the rock and roller that he is. The lights go out. Is it Sting? Maybe Darby Allin? Here comes Darby Allin. The TNT champion himself. Darby Allin with his skateboard. Gonna skate down the ramp to the ring. So the lights went out. And here comes Darby. Are the lights gonna go out again and Sting's gonna appear? They do go out. Where's Shivani when you need him? It's Sting. Sting chants. And It seems like Sting has aligned himself with the TNT champion and Darby Allin, as Sting also emerges from the darkness. Sting and Darby Allin to close out AEW tonight. Are they together? Are they partners? It damn well feels like it. Sting and, of course, Brodie Lee, Luke Harper were in WWE together at a point in time. And Sting just arrived in All Elite Wrestling. Darby Allin now in the ring. Sting's in the ring now with his baseball bat. The fake snow coming down. But we got Cody, Orange Cassidy, and 10 with Darby Allin and Sting. 5-on-5 with Team Taz. You got Taz, Cage, Starks, Hobbs, and Taz's son Hook. I mean, that's blood and guts, maybe. You know, they're war games if they're going to go that route. Something that's been on the back burner because of the pandemic. So the main event concludes. They fade dark. We'll hit another commercial break, but Jericho just stated before they close out the show, they have one more tribute for the Exalted One himself, Mr. Brodie Lee, tonight on AEW. So, we'll see what that's going to be, if it's going to be a video package or some more photos, or even, as mentioned, you know, potentially having the family out there with his son, Brodie Lee Jr. Maybe they're going to run -1 beating Kenny Omega and becoming the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion again, as that was, from what I heard, post dark match, New Year's Smash. You know, they could do it live tonight and be done with it. You know, show the world that, hey, of course, we're honoring him. Kenny's still going to be champion, but just in honor of the Exalted One, Mr. Brodie Lee, celebrating his life, gone way too soon once again at 41. Man, I tell you what, just, like I said, a complete shock. Complete shock. Was not expecting, you know, to hear that news on Saturday. That's why I thought it was like, one, a joke, or okay, two, a storyline, but no, it's for real. So, you know, there's that. But we'll see what happens moving forward. I was saying something there a little bit ago too. We got off track there a second with the finish of that match with Darby Allin and then Sting coming out as well. So they get them on the show. But if anybody does recall with what I was saying there a moment ago, please let me know in the comments. I know I was talking about Brodie and shoot myself in the foot about this now. I can go back and listen to it and, you know, see what I was saying and where I was going to go with it. But normally, for the most part, 9 times out of 10, you got to be good at it. You got to be quick on your feet. But oh well, it's not really that big of a deal right now. We'll deal with that later. But Cody Rhodes now in the ring by himself. Lights are dimmed. He's got a mic. Brodie chants Brodie Lee's celebration of life as he passed away at 41 years old this past Saturday. Cody starting to tear up. Cody was looking for a quote.
Encapsulate somebody like Brodie Lee, and I came across the Samuel Johnson quote. I probably will butcher it, but I think you'll understand it. It says you can judge a man's character.
Judge a man's character.
Treat somebody who can do him no good. Over the past week, we've heard all these stories of all these different people, these degrees of separation, who were positively affected by Brodie.
A lot of people were affected by Brodie's passing. That's why I said whether you knew him or not, felt like you did with the larger than life person that he was.
In every locker room, with every member of management, to have that one-to-one connection, and that's why everyone is affected so deeply in short.
And it was a big shock.
He was a beautiful man.
A beautiful man.
And he leaves behind a beautiful legacy, and I want
Leaves behind a beautiful legacy.
right now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome -1 Brodie Lee Jr.
Here comes -1 Brodie Lee Jr. As the lights go out. Man, they're making him feel like a rock star. Amanda, John's wife, carrying his in-ring boots with -1 Brodie Lee Jr. now in the ring. There's 10 of the Dark Order. Tony Khan coming out as well. Mother hands off the boots. -1 sets them down in the ring, and then Cody lays a bandana, a purple bandana at that, over the ring boots of the now late great Exalted One, Mr. Brodie Lee, otherwise known to WWE fans as Luke Harper. John Huber, his real life name. And then we see some Black Crows flying on the screen. TNT champion for life. -1 Brodie Lee Jr. As Tony Khan states that his father, Brodie Lee, was, with all due respect to Cody, the greatest TNT champion in AEW history. As they retire his boots, Brodie Lee Jr. now with the TNT title over his shoulder. Now a tribute video to Brodie Lee to close out the evening. Go back to when he debuted in AEW as the Exalted One. There's a big clothesline to Cody, became TNT champion back end of August. Wow, that's some old footage before he was even in WWE on the independents. The Rochester native, there's him and his wife. Two kids. Photo of Harper and Rowan as tag champs. There's Harper and Bray Wyatt. Brodie Lee as TNT champion. The Exalted One of the Dark Order in AEW. We got Chili's. BT, there's him and Hangman. Double clothesline of the Young Bucks. The dog collar match with Cody. Throwing the paper at Evil Uno. Him and Orange Cassidy did battle. Wow, these are some old photos right here. For the most part, everything we saw on social media, there's Harper and Rollins, Harper and Bray, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens on the helicopter in Hawaii, Big E, among some others. List is a few miles long. Can't name them all, but if you know, you know. Brodie Lee gone way too soon. John Huber at 41. Powerbomb to Dustin. Suplex to Moxley through the cards for Double or Nothing. Yeah. T-shirts. There's Reigns. The T-shirts they actually had made up, because WWE never gave him a T-shirt. In memory of John Huber, Brodie Lee. Gone at 41. And that's it for AEW this evening. That'll do it for AEW Dynamite, as they honored the life of John Huber, Luke Harper in the WWE, and the Exalted One, Mr. Brodie Lee, and all your wrestling in AEW. May he rest in peace. As mentioned earlier, we'd preview with what's to come for AEW New Year's Smash and WWE NXT New Year's Evil over the next few weeks. So without further ado, we'll get into both of those. But thank you for tuning in and watching my live reactions play-by-play this evening. We'll begin with NXT New Year's Evil. That'll be next week. Dexter Lumis is going to be hosting, as Shotzi Blackheart hosted Halloween Havoc. It seems like for these special edition NXT TakeOver TV specials, with whether it be Halloween Havoc or this new Year's Evil, they're going to have hosts to get them involved, you know, with the show in one such way. But Dexter Lumis will be hosting New Year's Evil next week. We'll have only 3 matches at this point in time. Of course, they'll probably add a few more. Probably have maybe 4 or 5 at the max, as we normally would for a takeover, or the 5 that we had for AEW tonight. Plus some add-ins, or even, you know, backstage segments with promos and reviews and, you know, all that, as we normally would anyway. More to be announced, I would think, at a later date from now until next week. But next week, as at halftime in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, Oklahoma leads Florida 31-13. For anyone interested in that, we'll have college football playoff semis with Alabama, Notre Dame, and Clemson, Ohio State on Friday. So be sure to tune in live right here on YouTube for live reactions, play of both those games this upcoming Sunday. Some more NFL action for Week 17 before the playoffs begin the following weekend. Just be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. But next week, NXT New Year's Evil, a takeover TV special, if you will. WWE NXT New Year's Evil next week. Dexter Lumis is going to be hosting. We'll have a Fight Pit match with Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, along with Karrion Kross and Damian Priest in singles competition. And then Finn Balor, along with Kyle O'Reilly, will have a rematch for the NXT Championship, as they did a few months back at NXT TakeOver 31. So that'll be the main event next Wednesday night on NXT. Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly for the NXT Championship. Now, New Year's Smash, of course, night one was supposed to be night for AEW. That, of course, was pushed back a week with the insert of the celebration of life for John Huber, Mr. Brodie Lee, after his passing this past weekend. So night one of AEW New Year's Smash. Now, next week, we'll have Kenny Omega and Rey Fenix for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Shida and Abaddon as well for the AEW Women's Championship. Go back to Omega there for a second. He, along with the Good Brothers themselves, Too Sweet Me. Rest in peace, John Huber. Omega going to be teaming in a 6-man tag team match during the next upcoming TNA Impact pay-per-view mid-January. But next week, New Year's Smash, coming off of the Holiday Bash episode last Wednesday night for AEW. It'll be Kenny Omega and Rey Fenix for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Shida and Abaddon as well for the AEW Women's Championship. Wardlow, after being attacked by Eric Rowan tonight on AEW, will take on Jake Hager. That's an Inner Circle match, really to determine the true big man of the Inner Circle, with Jake Hager being a part of the group for quite some time now, but then Wardlow coming in with MJF after MJF was added after defeating Jericho at Full Gear last month. We'll have Wardlow and Hager next week on AEW, along with Jon Moxley returning in action against a to-be-determined opponent. And then in 2 weeks' time, now night 2 of AEW New Year's Smash, a week later than planned, it'll be FTR and Jurassic Express in tag team action. We'll also have Cody Rhodes and Matt Sydal in singles competition. Sydal debuted back Double or Nothing All Out, formerly known, of course, as Evan Bourne, will take on Cody Rhodes. And then, so 2 championship matches for the main championship in AEW and then the mid-card championship in the company. Next week, Omega and Rey Fenix, the Lucha Brothers, for the title. And then Darby Allin versus Brian Cage, the FTW champion of Team Taz. It'll be Cage and Darby Allin for the TNT title. Darby Allin going to defend that championship early 2021 against Brian Cage. And then we'll be on to, as mentioned earlier, AEW Beach Break. I believe it's February the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. That's when we'll have the Kip Sabian Penelope Ford wedding with the best man, Miro. But as NXT winds down, given a little overrun here tonight, AEW ended on time there at 10 o'clock here on the East Coast. NXT a little overrun with this championship main event match. Now, I very well could be a minute or two behind with it being on the TV I'm currently looking at right in front of me compared to the one I normally look at. The main one for whatever I want as the one that's live. I mean, this is live as live can get too, but it is, a few seconds, a short time behind. In the meantime, though, it really doesn't matter. Johnny Gargano pins Leon Ruff, defeats Leon Ruff, and retains the NXT North American Championship to cap off 2020 for WWE NXT, as AEW celebrated the life of the late great Mr. Brodie Lee this evening to end 2020. But the Dark Order, a clean sweep tonight in the 5 matches that they were featured in. We had 4 of those 5 as 6-man tag team matches. Winners Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and 10 in the main event before the special tribute to close out the show with the video package. They defeated Team Taz. We also had the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana kick off the night. They defeated Matt Hardy and Private Party. With Matt Hardy, Hangman Page, and Lance Archer, who dressed up, did his best Luke Harper this evening, along with a few others that I named off earlier with Marty Scurll. I do believe, in no particular order by any means, it would have to be Scurll, Hardy, along with Hangman, and then Lance Archer, with Scorpio Sky, Dustin Rhodes, Goldust, maybe even Shawn Spears, and then even Anna Jay too. If you'd want to go in order, that'd be the order probably. Even Colt Cabana, throw him in the mix too, with him already being a part of the Dark Order. Even 10 Preston Vance, the Dark Order too, as potential candidates for the new leader, if they're even going to have a new leader of the Dark Order moving forward. We'll see what they do. But the show's going to go on one way or another. We'll have AEW New Year's Smash and WWE NXT TakeOver New Year's Evil next week. But the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana defeated Matt Hardy and Private Party. As in the meantime, to close out NXT tonight, Dexter Lumis hosting with his little artistic ability, drawing up the fine print for next week's New Year's Evil matches. We'll have a last woman standing match as well. They announced, so that'll be a good one. Balor and O'Reilly. I believe Lumis is going to be facing someone now as well, if I'm not mistaken. So they actually just now in the meantime added in a few more matches for next week's New Year's Evil event, as they'll hit their closing credits for tonight. So 2020 in professional wrestling done over with now. Friday Night SmackDown this upcoming Friday, New Year's Day, the 1st of 2021. And then next Wednesday, AEW New Year's Smash with WWE NXT New Year's Evil, and then we're on the road to the Royal Rumble along with AEW Beach Break. Okay, that's where we stand at right now. But the Dark Order, a clean sweep tonight. I mean, should have figured, honestly. But yeah, the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana kicked off the show. They beat Matt Hardy and Private Party. We then had Lance Archer, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson defeat Kingston, Butcher, and the Blade. Throughout the night as well, they had their special video tributes from backstage with some close-knit friends of John Huber's from real life. But Hangman Page along with John Silver and Alex Reynolds also defeated MJF with Santana and Ortiz. Anna Jay along with Tay Conte beat Britt Baker and Penelope Ford as well. And then, as mentioned in the main event, 10 with the pinfall win, defeating Team Taz before Darby Allin and Sting came out. So Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and 10 of the Dark Order winners over Team Taz before Darby Allin and Sting sort of have come together as a team for now. It seems like, at least, before the, of course, special tribute video package to close out the show. In honor, once again, as we celebrated the life dedicated to the late, great, exalted one, Mr. Brodie Lee. John Huber, rest in peace, gone way too soon at 41. As mentioned, it's been a rough few days for a lot of people in the world of professional wrestling. But as he would, of course, I would assume, the show's going to go on. So we're on to 2021. 2020, as New Year's Eve is tomorrow, New Year's Day, of course, the following day. 2020 has been, for the most part, for a lot of people, in this generation, unless you're still around from the Depression, it's been one of the worst years I think anybody can ever remember, for everyone involved worldwide, just not here in the States, regardless of where you're at. Hopefully you're staying safe, and hopefully 2021 will in fact be a better year than this past year, but for the most part, time being, moving forward, it's going to be staying as it's been, the past however many months it's been now. But 2020 has now come to an end. We're on to 2021, so I'll see everybody next year in 2021. Technically this Friday, only 2 days from now, but that's still technically next year. But I just want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in tonight, all year long, live right here on YouTube, and checking out preview, recap videos, live reaction streams, live right here on YouTube, whether it be college football, the NFL, professional wrestling with AEW, or even the WWE with Monday Night Raw, NXT, or even Friday Night SmackDown. More videos to come in the future. As always, just be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. Thank you once again for tuning in and watching this evening as we celebrated the life of the late, great John Huber, as he passed away this past Saturday, once again at the age of 41. Rest in peace to the exalted one, Mr. Brodie Lee. Rest in peace, and thank you for tuning in and watching. I'll see everybody next year.